Hello everybody and welcome to the podcast where you just can't get enough of them boys talks. It's Jay Noon and we coming back at you again, baby. As always, this isn't no one-man show, but you know what? We're actually missing two boys today, so it's just gonna be myself
and Dill Pickles today.
It's gonna be a good one. So today we're actually gonna do a movie review. We're gonna be reviewing I See You. It's a really good movie, but just before we begin, we're going to be discussing the plot and many scenes and moments from the movie, so we just wanted to give you a big spoiler alert. But if you have watched the movie or you don't really care about spoilers, then please stay and listen, because we really want you to just enjoy our talk and just have a good time. So now that we gotten that out of the way, hi Dill.
Hi. Hello.
Well, just to start off, that movie was wild, bro.
Dude, yeah, it was unexpectely good.
Yeah, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like,
we enjoyed it. I think.
Like, Dylan and I just we just put up we were just chilling yesterday and just put up a random movie and we want to watch
on Amazon Prime scrolling through, and then we just saw the we were just clicking a bunch of things, and like a third movie in, we see I See You. And it says horror and thriller underneath.
And thriller, yes.
And we're like, I think it sounds great. And on Amazon Prime, it shows you the rating, right? So IMDb said 6.8.
Yeah.
I told you to go look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. That's like a 78, 79.
Yeah, something about
and
that.
And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think it exceeded expectations.
Like, yeah, we had a lot of, we looked at each other a lot, going like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
really well done.
Yeah, so go ahead, Bill. Yeah. Like, I think you were gonna tell us
about the movie.
Yes.
So, just to give you a little quick synopsis of what I See You is, it's a 2019 film about a small town detective who is investigating a disappearance of a 12-year-old boy, and it's directed by Adam Randall, and it stars Helen Hunt, John Tenney, and Owen Teague, and some other people. And Helen Hunt, we know from Twister.
From Twister, yeah.
John Tenney, I think I looked him up. He's from some other interesting movies as well, but
he looked familiar. Yeah, I just didn't know exactly where he was from.
And Owen Teague was from It.
Oh yes. Owen Teague. The he was one of the bullies with
the black hair.
Eddie Bowers.
Yeah.
And he had the knife. He died pretty quickly. Hopefully that's not a spoiler either if you haven't watched It. Yeah. But definitely pretty good cast. I thought overall it was a really good cast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Tenney. He's from Free Willy 2.
Free Willy 2. I haven't watched that movie.
Yeah, he's from Legion.
Yeah.
Oh. And Green Lantern. Like very subtle roles.
Oh. I didn't know that.
I don't know if there's any movies on here that you've probably seen him in, but
could be.
Maybe a TV show or something.
Probably got to take a look at the cast.
Pretty good casting.
Yeah. Interesting.
From what we saw.
I think everybody did a really good job.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was really that off to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main character, so the husband who plays a detective, who's kind of looking at these disappearances and stuff, he did a pretty good job, and you can start discussing the plot, I guess, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, I thought it was very creative, right?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it's kind of like it seemed like a generic story.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like,
it opens up with a boy going through this town, and it looks like Derry, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Derry's the town from It.
Yeah, we're just watching it. We're like, dude, that's Derry, and like they have like the bridge and whatever, and then he's just like chilling with some kids near a fountain or whatever, and he bike rides and he's going through the forest, and then he ends up like falling off his bike.
Yeah, like
flying off his bike,
and
and then that's the opening scene.
Yeah.
And then from the beginning, you kind of have this idea that it's going to be this supernatural film. Because you're like...
Even like the way that they introduce certain scenes, like they have like... I mean, we'll get into the cinematography after, but like the whole thing, like they start off by making it seem like it's a ghost or a demon like or something taking away...
Poltergeist or something,
right? Right, taking away these kids, right?
Because there's strange occurrences happening throughout the film that are like adding to it. So for the plot, it's kind of... the detective, he's going around, it opens up with this kid getting flying off his bike, and then it goes to a scene where they're investigating the scene of the crime, and the kid's gone and his bike is there, and it's a missing kid. And then you find out in the story that there's a bunch of missing kids that are happening in this town. Like they're and this one detective and the chief detective solve the crime, and there's a
he actually I think it was mentioned that this guy's already in jail.
He's already in jail.
Like he's already in jail. So they were speculating that it was a copycat, right? Because of the knife that they left behind.
Yeah, because that was related to all of the kids going missing. Exactly. And then throughout that, so that's the main character. He's a detective. Then it goes to his family. Yeah. He has a wife, and
wife cheats on him.
And then they have a son, and he's going through his own things because of
he's angry.
Yeah, he's angry at his mom and stuff like that because he cheated on his dad.
And like all these weird things start happening.
Yeah,
right?
Their forks go missing.
Like forks go missing, and then like the detective gets locked into his son's closet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Yes. And it's just funny because like the whole time we're just watching this movie, we're like they're just not. It's just supernatural.
Yeah, it's supernatural. Clearly supernatural, right?
And then like halfway
TV goes off
right
on its own.
Right. And then there's this whole scene with the frogging, like.
And then it goes into that.
Yeah, it goes into that.
The son's home alone.
Yeah.
And he gets a text from an anonymous person. Yeah. And it says, "Do you know what frogging is?" Jay don't know what frogging is. Yeah. So we're looking up on the while we pause it and we look at it like, what is frogging? And then it's
when someone who is pretty much an intruder permanently or temporarily
hides into your house on purpose.
Yeah.
They choose to stay in your house,
to coexist with you.
Yeah. Not to do anything, just to hide out and find a spare bedroom or something and live amongst you.
It was something like frogging because they call it frogging because frogs hop from lily pad to lily pad, so they're hopping from house to house or place to place. Exactly.
That's
pad to pad.
Yeah, that's why they put pH.
Yes.
If you want to look it up, it's very strange. And then I gave you this creepy thing where it's like if people search it up, that's how they find
the IP address. No, I was terrified when you said that, but
I was just thinking the worst because that scene was you're watching this movie and then that text comes in and it's actually. It creeped me out.
Oh yeah, it creeped me out. And then the guy came from the behind, and
we said we're like, this is more scary than a horror movie. Because it's like, wait, because the whole time we're thinking that it's a supernatural
thing. Exactly.
And then at one point, there's this guy behind this person, and he's wearing a mask. Yeah. And it's like, wait, what happened? You don't expect that.
Exactly.
Right? It's the way that they did it. You just don't expect it.
Exactly. It ends up being an intruder movie.
Yeah.
Like an intruder movie. But then
it goes into
that's a whole bunch of whack stuff. So then after that, like it essentially it shows you all these different perspectives. Like I think that was really cool. Like we weren't expecting it. So halfway in, they start showing the perspective of the people who are doing the frogging. You know, the people come in, they're recording a video.
And it's a guy and a girl.
Yeah, guy and a girl. They go in, you know.
Yeah, it just cuts to them, the camcorder scene of them recording. And you're like, what is this?
Exactly.
And this is right after the scene where the guy asks him, do you know what frogging is? And he hits him, right? Mm-hmm. And it goes into this camcorder thing. And it's a guy and a girl. And it's like, wait, what is this? What's going on, right?
Yeah.
And then they're in their spare bedroom upstairs, and they're talking. I think the girl it's played by Live Bearer. She plays Mindy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know Live Bearer?
No.
No. Yeah. So that's the girl that plays Mindy.
Oh.
And so she's explaining to the camera what frogging is, and that's where you get your idea and what they're doing, right? Yeah. But what she says is that she just wants to coexist with the people.
Right.
And it's fun to just experience their life and see what they're going through and whatever. But then the guy
was creepy.
The guy is creepy.
Yeah, the guy was creepy.
He has ulterior motives.
Exactly. And clearly he came off as a bad person because he just wanted to terrorize everybody.
Yeah, he even says in the movie that he's like, what's the fun of this if you're not
having them question their insanity, right?
Their sanity,
yeah. So it was very interesting, and then, long story short, it just led into this whole, like, we were confused, but then we started realizing that they were going through the story again, but from a different perspective, and you start finding out, like, that the dad, the detective, who is, you know, trying to look into these crimes, and you're following that perspective, is actually the person who's doing all of the kidnappings.
Yeah.
And then it's just insane. And then it's like they mislead you for like the first
so long,
for like
but
30-40 minutes,
like
right?
Like you said, it's the way that they did the storytelling of the jump cuts of them and then showing you different perspectives and stuff like that. Right. But then also they play with time,
right?
Showing you different instances in time. Yeah. So they give you the Frogger's perspective, then they give you Mindy's perspective alone, because she gets, at one point she's separated, and because the guy ends up drugging her. Yeah. And then it shows you his perspective, the guy, his perspective. And then it shows you the dad's perspective. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is insane. Wild. Right? It goes on a wild ride.
Wild, dude.
Right?
Yeah, and so the way that they did it was just plot twist after plot twist
after
plot twist. Like,
and there's a bad way of doing that, but in this movie, I don't know if it's just because we weren't expecting it. Yeah. But they did it in a cool way that was like very entertaining.
It was enjoyable. Yeah, it was like really enjoyable. And Dylan and I were just on our seats, like on the edge of our seats, we were just laughing about it because we just weren't expecting any of it. And so like, did you feel like the pacing was good? Like everything was okay?
I thought the pacing was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I thought
did
so
not
too.
have a problem with the pacing at all.
Right. I read a review that like some people thought it was so slow in the beginning, but I thought it was a good amount. And like you mentioned this before, like it can be like timing does not matter as long as you're telling the story. In the right way.
And every movie has to get you with a hook, right?
Right.
And the hook from the beginning of the movie is the kid flying off his bike.
Right.
But then they show you that it's not. It's later throughout the movie that it's not a supernatural thing because they find a wire. Yeah. But you don't think that while watching the beginning of the movie.
That's actually true. We It's very interesting. Yeah. We actually now that you mention it, we kind of very similarly the characters in the movie, because they're going through such like human problems.
Yes.
Like the cheating and you know the
husband's a detective.
Right. That mattered more than the actual supernatural things or the weird things that were happening. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because while they're ignoring all of these little supernatural things, like the husband getting locked in the closet, like without the son being home, or like the fact that like it's just like those things that they were ignoring. Yeah. That we also ignored certain things too, because we're trying to focus on the main like drama of the family. Like, why didn't we say that it was not supernatural after they found the wire, right? Yeah. But we continued to believe, and they made us continue to believe that it was supernatural. Yeah. So it's very, very
well done.
Creative. Yeah,
very well done. I think that give kudos to that, and I think that's why we appreciated the movie a lot, because like
definitely.
It didn't make us think too.
No.
We were thinking throughout the movie, but like we're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know what atoned to that. If we just put on a movie, we're just trying to have a good time. Exactly. But from what I've seen in all the movies that we've been watching over the course of time, they did a pretty good job with this one. Definitely. Storytelling, everything, like the even instances where they're giving you information, right? Like that wire scene. Right. You're like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Wait, what's going on then? Yeah. How do you explain the TV turning on by itself? Right. Or the forks going missing? Or the pictures are going missing, right? And throughout the movie, the pictures are going... things keep disappearing throughout the house, right? Yeah. And you're like, what's going on? But then that's when you get the perspective of the kids that are in the house, and you're like, that explains that. But they don't... They do it in such a way that you're like... There's so many things going on. The wife cheating. Yeah. The dad's investigating this kid that's missing. Right. You don't piece them all together. That they actually all are connected in some way. Exactly. Right. Exactly. That's what's really, really, I think. Yeah. Well done.
Very well done. I thought that was very well done. I super enjoyed.
Yeah. Super enjoyed.
It was pretty funny too.
Yeah. So we're going on to.
I guess we'll move on.
The setting for the movie was pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
It's modern day movie. Modern day times. Yeah. You can tell by the cell phones that they're using. They don't specifically or explicitly say the time period. No. But I think you get the idea that because the kid's playing an online game. Yeah. I think he's playing. Yeah.
Can I say the game?
I don't know if it's Overwatch.
It was Overwatch. Yeah, it was Overwatch. Am I allowed to say Overwatch? I think so. Yeah, you can say Overwatch. Yes. Yeah. We're not he was playing Overwatch.
Struck for that.
Yeah. He was playing Overwatch and and then they were using smartphones too, so it didn't seem like it was from any other time period.
She did have a record player and cassette tapes, but you could tell that their family was just a little
like
bit,
they just like those
old
vintage
stuff.
things.
Yes. So setting is pretty
straightforward.
But then we go into the bread and butter of this. It's the themes.
Themes.
Yeah, the themes.
We love themes, don't we, Jackie?
We do, Jackie.
We love themes. We love the themes. His name is Lee.
So for the themes, what would you say?
Well, you mentioned earlier. It's funny because I was kind of asking Dill what he was thinking about the themes, and he mentioned this. Maybe you should you talk about it. You talk about it.
Well, from what I got from it, it was there's a bunch of different things that kind of atone to it, but I think one of the main ones is the aspect of not judging a book by its cover. Right. Because in the beginning of the movie, you get the family dynamic. The wife cheats on the dad, and you kind of feel for the dad because it's like, but he's kind of chill about it. It's just like, I know me and your mom, we're going through some things, but and then you get the fast forward to the guy coming in, Mindy and the boy, the Froggers that comes to the house, and he is kind of a troubled kid, and you're like, okay, this guy's just trying to start stuff. Mindy fully tells you to the camera that frogging is we're just trying to coexist with the people. We're not trying to mess with them. We're just trying to be here. But this guy's just like, nah, I want to,
I want to mess around. I want to play around with them.
Yeah. Let's take their forks. Let's do some stuff, right? And so you immediately don't like this character because it's like, maybe he's so chill, and then this guy's doing all this stuff. And fast forward to the end of the movie, you get the plot twist that the dad is the guy that's actually kidnapping kids, and this boy was actually one of the kids that he kidnapped and he got away. Yeah. Right? Because they do this whole side story thing where there was two boys at the beginning. Yeah. That this kidnapper was kidnapping, and I think they visit one of the...
Yeah, they visit one of the boys.
Yeah, to ask him.
Yeah. And they pretty much, these two boys had gone... they got away. Yeah, they got away. Yeah. They were able to escape. Yeah. And, I mean, they're traumatized. Yeah.
But think about that scene again, though, because he goes and he visits that kid. Remember?
Yes, and why does he say no?
Yeah.
Like he was screaming.
Because he recognized
him. Oh, well, there we go. Now we're realizing stuff.
See that? But that was a subtle thing where it's like, you think he's crazy, but it's...
It could be that he recognized him.
He's just painting his Warhammer figurines. And then they bring the serial killer or the kidnapper back to this guy's house.
That's where so true.
To, right? So... so I think one of the aspects I think in theme-wise is
never judging a book by its cover.
Because you want to believe the detective, but he's a villain.
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
Even though that this kid is doing rough stuff or doing nonsense, it's because he came from a place of some trauma. Yeah, and not saying that it's okay.
No, but then he also knew who this guy was. Yeah. He also knew the husband. He knew the guy who was living in this house.
Right? And remember when you find out, Mindy finds out that he has this thing, right? Yeah. And then he ends up killing Mindy at the end. And you're like, wait, how is he going to know that he kidnaps the kids? Right. Because you're like, wait, how? Like, why would he have to kill him, right? Yes. And why, he should leave. A lot
of questions.
And you're like, and then he tells him while they have the confrontation that he's like, I know what you did. Yeah. You
and then he showed his face, and then
right, and then that's where he realizes. So he knows already, right? Yeah. So he's
It's really good. I think that's a good theme. Like first impressions are and everything, of course. Yes, and I like the way that they did that. It was very good. Like you empathize with one character, but then you end up empathizing with another character, and I like that. I thought that was it was enjoyable, very enjoyable.
Yeah, did a really good job, I think, on that. What else do we have there? Is there symbolism that we can think of?
Symbolism, not really. That I can
just pinpoint.
No, nothing that I can really think of.
That stands out, right?
Yeah, that stands out to me. Yeah. In terms of symbolism, I think it's a very like as much as it had a lot of plot twists, it was also a very straightforward movie. Yeah. Like you didn't have to think too much into it. It was a very like you watch it, like you said, and you enjoy it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So didn't really have that much symbolism. Maybe they had a little bit. I think within the cinematography, there's some hints and clues at the story. Yeah. But then we can talk about that after.
Yes. I guess we can move on to characters.
Yeah, characters. Oh, characters are great. Yeah. Characters are great. Yeah. Like, I think that all of the characters are complex, and it shows because we had no clue what their intentions were, and like what their first impression, like what the character actually is, just based on their first impression.
Yeah, so. I felt really bad for their son.
Oh yeah.
This guy,
poor guy.
His not only so he, we can go with the timing of the movie. Right. There's things that are happening in the movie that are like where some characters are gone and the parents are leaving because they have to go hide a body at one point. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the son, at one point he leaves to go to his friend's house, and then he comes back and he's home alone, and then the guy is there, and he ends up putting him in a bathtub, and you realize you feel bad for the kid. Yeah. You realize that at the end of the movie that he did that because his dad did that to him when he was a kid. Exactly. Right? He got kidnapped by him. So you feel bad but like he's gone through so much. His mom is cheating on his dad. Yeah. His dad is he finds out at the end of the movie that he's a serial killer. Yeah. And he's kidnapping kids and he's doing all this stuff. And he's like, he doesn't really get like that much development, but you can see the trauma there. Yeah. There's a lot of trauma. Yeah. He just comes home and then this is happening, because he's just coming home from being tied up and like suffocating in a bathtub. Exactly. Right? So
very, very interesting characters. Yeah. Very hard, a lot of trauma and a lot of character development in the sense that they have reasons for why they do what they do. Yeah. Yeah. And it definitely relates to, well, especially the main kid who is, causing a ruckus. Yeah. It's all because he has trauma and he knows who did it, and so he's trying to play around with the guy. So definitely complex in their own ways, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now we can go to directing.
Yeah, directing.
Which can consist of the
cinematography as well.
Yeah, cinematography as well. And the pacing, which we discussed, which they did it again. They did a really good job with it. Good job.
No complaints about pacing at all.
And then so with the directing of them telling the different perspectives, was really cool. So at one point you get really the beginning scene of the family is she's making pancakes for her son, and then the dad's sleeping on the couch, and he wakes up and they have their discussion or whatever. Then there's a scene when you meet the Froggers and all this stuff's happening towards the end of the movie where it pans out of the house and it's them still doing that, but then it pans to Alec, who's the kid, and it goes into their story of what was going on when they were having breakfast that morning.
Yeah, you can see like the directing was amazing in that sense, because you're seeing, it's almost as if, well, like I think this is it's funny that it's called I See You, right? Yeah. And in some ways it always feels like the camera's positioned in a way that it's always watching whichever perspective it is. Like it's always watching the family, or it's always watching the Froggers, or it's watching the detectives. It's very like, it's like someone's always watching,
there's a scene where remember when the poltergeisty stuff is happening, it's first person and it's that the horror scenes are happening, but it's really Alec doing that stuff, but it's in first person view of him pulling the sheets, or him walking up to the mom, right? And that happens at the beginning of the movie. They show that scene, right? Then they show it again towards the end, and you realize that it's Alec doing that,
as opposed to a supernatural being, right? You think it's it's insane.
Really well done. Yeah. And let's go back to the fact that he pees on him, and it's because this guy is a douchebag.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, at the time we were like, what's wrong with this kid, bro? Got some issues, bro. But it was because this guy's a bad guy. He knew he was a bad guy. Right? Exactly.
I also want to talk about. I think I thought about it last night. And I realized, I remember telling you, there's a scene where the son is playing video games, right? And he's playing Overwatch, and he's shooting stuff, so there's gunshots. But then he hears gunshots, Right? And then towards the end of the movie, you see what's it called? You see the dad take Mindy.
Yeah.
And he ends up killing her.
Yeah.
Because,
and then he shoots the wall and tries to frame her, pretty much. Yeah.
I think that was happening simultaneously with his son upstairs.
Really?
Yeah. I
you think so?
Yes.
Because I was just like...
Because he hears gunshots.
That's what I was thinking too, but then...
It didn't make sense because he was resuscitated and he went to the hospital, right? But I think...
maybe in the way, some way it's related.
It happened in that time. Then he goes and he ties his son up and he puts him in the bathtub.
You think so, eh?
Yeah, because...
Interesting.
He hears the shots, right?
Right.
But he doesn't think too much of it.
Right.
Unless I don't know if we just caught like a editing error.
Yeah.
Because the timeline wise, it kind of is weird because he's supposed to be he's not supposed to be at the house.
But at that time he's already gone to the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. So he shouldn't be at home.
But I think because of timing and how they're doing it, I'm thinking that happened at the same time.
Right. It makes sense how you say it because he hears gunshots, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of confusing, right? Like the timeline is confusing. But it's interesting.
But they did things like that throughout the movie. You know, that were like they give you hints of things that were happening around the same time.
Exactly.
Like the dad, the guy that the mom cheats with.
Yeah.
Ends up coming to the house, and then he's in the basement, and then it cuts to see because he gets hit in the head with a cup or something, and he's bleeding, and then he goes to go get another towel, and he gets hit on the head, and then they fast forward it, and then you see who actually hits him, but you think that it's Alec, but it's actually the dad.
Yeah,
and you're like, what?
Yeah, there's just a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's a lot of the camera work I think is amazing.
Yeah,
like I think they did a really good job. Like, in terms of like what their goal was, it just made so much sense. Like they're trying to mislead the audience, and they did a good job with the camera work, and
the storytelling through camera.
Exactly.
That's the really really good job. I think.
Good job.
I think with color grading it was very normal, things like that. But
like more, it was always kind of dark, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really colorful.
Yeah.
Or bright. Yeah. It was very dark. Overall, made sense with the, I guess the tone that they were trying to go for with the movie. Yeah.
Score
was just weird.
Yeah, it was bong noises.
It was just bong.
But it was made to creep you out. Yeah. So nothing too out of the ordinary with like a horror movie. Yeah, horror thriller movie. Like it didn't I would say it turned into, instead of it being a horror thriller, it turned into a suspense thriller.
Exactly. I wouldn't call it horror.
Horror at the beginning, and then it goes into a suspense.
Exactly.
They trick you with that.
Yeah. Even with you know what? Yeah, they did a good job with misleading that too with the score, because the score kind of sounds like a horror movie thing. Yeah. But it's not. It's truly not. But overall, I think
overall enjoyment.
Yeah, overall enjoyment. Like, how do you like? I had a good time. I think Dill had a great time too.
Yeah, we were flipping out at some of the
the plot twist, man.
And the reveals. Those were very interesting, I would say.
Yeah, plot twists over and over and over again. Yeah. It's crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. What's so you want to do a little bit of a rating? Like what do you want to give the plot?
Plot, I would give it individually.
I guess we got to put it down. We got to write it down, don't we?
Yeah, individually. Okay, I would give the plot like an 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give it an 8.
You're gonna give it an 8?
An 8, yes.
All right.
Really solid.
Okay.
Very solid. As we speak, Dill is writing down our scores for each of the categories that we have here. So we have a plot. Yeah. I think if you've listened to our last one, which you might have not, but that's okay. We're gonna score each of the categories that we talked about. So the first one is plot. What's the next one, Dill?
The next one is setting.
Setting. Well, setting. They did a good job. It was straightforward.
Very straightforward.
I don't really think there's anything
too special
about it. I'll just go with.
I'll go with an 8.
I'll go with an 8 as well.
Themes.
I'll go with an 8.
We're going with an 8.
8.
Well. Yeah. 8 is my score too.
Yeah, 8 is a very, 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 very reasonable score for that.
Mm-hmm. Characters.
Characters, I like them. I'll go 8.5. I think characters did a good job. The acting was good.
Yeah. Let's talk about the casting too, right? I think they all did a really good job. Doing their roles and portraying their characters. Very believable.
You either are made to hate them, or you're made to like them, or empathize with them, right?
And I think they all played their parts pretty well.
Exactly.
Right? So I'll give it an 8.5 as well.
8.5.
Directing,
I'll give it an 8.5.
I'm giving it a 9.
9. That's amazing.
I think they did a really phenomenal job.
Wow.
I think.
You know what?
Just looking at it, right?
You're right.
The way that they told the story, and it was the way that they revealed stuff, the way that they wrote it. They did a really good job, and that's hard to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's true.
For a horror movie,
that's true.
Like
telling the story through directing,
especially with all of the things that they did, the perspectives that they did. I commend them for how they did that. It's not easy. Yeah. So I'll give them a 9.
You know, I'll give it an 8.8. 8.8. Yeah, give it an 8.8. You know what I mean? 8.8.
8.8.
I agree with you. I do agree.
Interesting scores there. Cinematography.
I'm
giving that I'll give it a.
I guess I think I'll give it a.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll say 7.5 for Jay.
7.5.
Yeah, directing was amazing. Cinematography was good too, but
nothing blew me out of the water.
Nothing blew me out of the water for cinematography. I think the tone was as expected, and score I'll give that like a 7.
I think I'll give it like a 7 too.
Yeah, 7. Nothing special about the score. I think if they do its job, or if the score does its job, or if the cinematography does its job, I'll give it a 7. You know, because it's nothing too out of the ordinary. You know, so how we're gonna do this? We're gonna average up.
Are we categorizing enjoyment too? Are we rating that? Because that's like a booster, you know. Enjoyment. I'm giving it a 9.
Enjoyment is 9. Yeah. Enjoyment's a 9 for me too. So I'll give that a 9 as well.
Giving it a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got, for plot you have an 8.
8.
For setting you have an 8. For themes you have an 8.
Yeah.
Characters you have an 8.5.
Yeah.
Directing you have an 8.8. Cinematography you have a 7.5. And for score you have a 7.
Yeah.
And enjoyment
9 easily. Divided by 8 categories, right? 8.1.
8.1
out of 10.
Good.
That's pretty good. 8.1 out of 10. Yeah. So that's my score for I See You. Because I see you. You know what I mean?
8+8.
Don't listen to me. Dill's just filling out it. Anyway, so we don't have any sponsors.
I gave it an 8.3.
8.3? Yeah. That's solid. That's solid. That's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, very...
Did you say we don't have any sponsors?
Yeah, we don't have any sponsors, so, no breaks.
Yes.
We keep going. So, yeah, I definitely think... Solid movie, very enjoyable. I think
I would highly recommend this movie.
I would highly recommend this movie. Like, if you're listening to this review, and you have watched the movie already, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah.
Because I thought we had a great time.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, and you're interested, give it a look, give it a watch. Go in with no expectation and
it's funny
because
we're putting that at the end, right?
I know.
And they listen to our whole
like the spoilers and everything.
Yeah. And so usually I find if I have expectations going into the movie,
right,
it makes it it changes my view of it.
Right,
so
right.
We went into it with no expectations.
No expectations at all. Yeah, no expectations at all.
Great. I thought it was great.
Great movie. Yeah. So definitely would recommend. Definitely would watch. Would I watch it again? Would you watch it again?
I would watch it again.
I would watch it again too. Yeah. Maybe even watch it with the other guys.
Yeah.
The other guys missed out.
I'll show it to them.
Yeah, the other guys missed out. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I think that was a great episode.
I think so as well.
Let's wrap it up. All right. Well,
till next time.
Till next time. Thank you guys for listening in. It's the DemBoyz friends signing out.